Hey, everybody, this is your girl, Evangelist Sandra E. Jackson. And the E stands for aesthetic because I am ecstatic to be alive. I am a shiftologist, an author, an anchor woman, a mother of 9 children, and a motivator. I am here to help you. Head over to my website, www.sandrarumph.com. That is SANDRARUMPH. I have what it takes for you, and I would like to help you. So go to website www.sandrarumph.com. I can't wait to hear from you.
Whether you're listening from around the world or viewing from around the world, welcome to My Journey with Paula G, where we are juggling this journey called life while we're walking in the gifts and the talents that God has given us. If this is your first time viewing or tuning in, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you're returning, welcome back. We're glad that you're tuning in, listening, viewing, watching from around the world. Thank you all so very much. I always open my show with this and I repeat myself over and over because it's true. It's a truth to me, it's a truth that stands firm that time is precious. And I don't know about you, but I see examples of it more and more each and every day of just how precious our time is, how precious life is. They're both very precious. And there are two things that you cannot get back: your time and life. And for you all to think it not robbery to spend your time with us is truly, truly appreciated. So we thank you once again so very much for tuning in and for listening. And we also like to thank those who have chosen to join the journey through their underwriting support. And that would be indeed our underwriters. We are so grateful for our underwriters because without them, we would not have the means to provide this program for you each and every episode. So thank you, underwriters, so much for your support. And if you're interested in being an underwriter, you can email Paula G. Voice at Paula at paulagvoice.com or jerryvoicelive at gmail.com. Put underwriting opportunities in the subject line because underwriting is a great way to gain exposure for your business, your product, your service, whatever journey that you are on, and you wanting to share that with the public. Underwriting support is a great way to do that. So reach out to us, Paula at paulagvoice.com, jerryvoicelive at gmail.com. Put underwriting opportunities in the subject line, and we'll be sure to follow up with you as well. Also, I would love for you to stay connected on the journey through my platforms. A variety of social media platforms are pretty much the same across the board. Paula G. Voice across the board. I do have a group page that I guess I need to start mentioning that. Group page, Mindset Journey with Lady Wisdom is my group page. Mindset Journey with Lady Wisdom, as well as My Journey with Paula G. I have a My Journey with Paula G page on social media as well. So you can check those out. My Journey with Paula G and the Mindset Journey with Paula G, where we unlock the negative mindset and create a new narrative. That is my underlying theme in everything that I do, because I always say that I'm a product of my own brand. I'm a product of my own brand where I had to go back. I had to peel back the layers. I had to unlock a negative mindset in order to create a new narrative that I am now walking in for myself. So I work to encourage men and women to do the same. So you can follow me across the board. Once again, Paula G. Voice, Mindset Journey with Lady Wisdom is a group page. I'd love for you to join. And My Journey with Paula G, where we post episodes, past episodes, archive episodes of the show. And you can also check us out on the Weekend channel. Shouts out to Jerry Voice Live of Positive Power 21 for developing, creating that Weekend channel where not only this program, but other programs, other podcasts, other radio shows, television shows on Positive Power 21, all with positive, uplifting, informative, encouraging platforms. So make sure that you check us out as well. So speaking of being a product of my own brand. I want to talk a bit today about one of the things that has helped me to get to where I am today. And mind you, this is not about me, but I hear from a lot of you in regard to questions as to how did you change, and I've kind of shared this with you all before, how did you get to where you are? How did you get in radio? How did you get in television? How did you start modeling? How did you start in voiceover? How did you start doing commercials? All of these different things. And there's two things that I would have to elaborate on. One is faith, and the other is prayer. And my prayer from the beginning was, Lord, these are the things that I desire to do as my life is transforming. And if it be according to your will, open the doors of opportunity. Give me the wisdom to or discernment. Give me the discernment to recognize the open door and the wisdom to walk through and embrace the opportunities that you have on the other side. That's basically it in a nutshell. Praying for wisdom and discernment. Lord, if this journey that I'm on be according to your will, open the doors of opportunity. Give me the discernment to recognize that open door and the wisdom to walk through and to take proper advantage or take advantage of the opportunity. So I started back, oh gosh, at the time of this recording, maybe it was 7 years, 2015. I was really going through a transition during that time period where I found myself on the other side of a 23-year marriage as a military spouse. I found myself on the other side of raising children, have two beautiful daughters. And someone told me, well, you don't talk about your daughters, as much. And I may begin to do so, but when they're younger, they're not trying to have you all in their business. So that's why. But at some point, I may share a bit about that journey and motherhood and so forth. But on the other side of raising children, because my girls were, adults at the time. One was halfway through college. One was well, actually, what did I say? 2015? 2015, they both had graduated by that time. Get my years mixed up. They both had graduated from college at that time. So I found myself on the other side of being a military spouse for over 23 years, found myself on the other side of raising children. They're now two, grown women. Found myself on the other side of a career in education. And I found myself on the threshold of a new journey that my life has transformed. And some of you, and as I'm sharing this, I know some of you can relate in such a manner that you may be at some point that I'm sharing. You may be at some point on that journey. So I'm praying that this conversation will help you. But I found myself at that junction of who am I and what do I do with the rest of my life? And I recall being at an event with a foundation that I worked with, and there was a gentleman sitting there, and he was broadcasting from this particular foundation's event. He was broadcasting, and I went over, and it looked like he was broadcasting radio. And I went over and I introduced myself, as I do with a lot of the vendors and the people that are at these different events. And I went over and I introduced myself and told him who I was and my part in the foundation and why I was there and what committee I was on and so forth. So he asked me if I would be willing to go on air and share with his listening audience as to who I was and the foundation and the purpose of that particular event. So I said, sure. So after the interview, he says to me, have you ever thought about doing radio? Well, funny you asked, I said. Years prior at the start of my career, shall we say, as a military spouse, I worked for the YMCA, and I had worked for the YMCA for a number of years. And this, I was a program director, and our summer camp program basically was our cash cow for the year. We had other programs throughout the year that generated income, but that summer camp program really determined my budget for the year. And at one point, I had the maximum budget I had at one point was about a $500,000 budget. So it was, incumbent upon me at the time, and we didn't have all the social media that we have now. We had that drive time terrestrial morning radio shows and morning television shows, which at the time were more localized. A lot of them are syndicated now, but at the time, a lot of them were localized. So I would make the rounds on the morning shows, and basically sharing about the summer camp program and the opportunities. The radio shows sharing about the summer camp program and the opportunities. And I would always be, it never failed when I left the studios, I would always be asked, have you thought about a career in radio? Have you thought about a career in television? And I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, that'd be wonderful, great, fascinating. But I've got two small children, a full-time job here at the YMCA, and I'm a military spouse, and I probably won't be here but another year and a minute anyway. So, however fascinating and wonderful that thought sounded, in that particular season of my life, it just was not something that I was giving a lot of thought to that would come to fruition. So I continued my journey as a program director, continued my journey as raising children, continued my journey as a military spouse. Fast forward, where I'm in a different season now, and the question is being asked to me again. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, on the flip side of the break, I'm going to share with you how that conversation brought me to where I am today. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
Gabriella Nalvin has written a delightful children's book entitled Athena, The Adventures of a Fearless Dragon. This is a heartwarming story about a little dragon born with her two back feet missing. And during her journey across the country, searching for a new home, she and her brothers learn to work together to survive while strengthening their sibling bond. Athena, The Adventures of a Fearless Dragon is now available on digital platforms.
Well, welcome back to My Journey with Paula G, where we are juggling this journey called life while we're walking in the gifts and the talents that God has given us. We're so glad that you have rejoined us. And if you're just joining us, well, we welcome you. Before the break, I was sharing a bit of my journey of how I found myself at the crossroads of a transition in my life, from the role of being a wife and a mother and an educator to what started the journey that I'm on now. So I met this gentleman whose name was Clark Garrison. He is no longer with us, God rest his soul, but he is responsible for me starting this journey. He had faith in me, he believed in me, he gave me an opportunity. So over the course of a few months, he and I had some conversations, and I found myself maybe about 6 months later starting my own radio show, the Paula G Show, which was on Survival Radio Network, which is no longer at the time. And I found myself having a 30-minute, no, it was an hour. It was a radio show. It was a podcast. And that was back when podcasts were fresh and new and just starting out. Nobody knew what a podcast was. Nobody at the time took podcasts seriously. Look where we are now. I'm just saying. One of the first to start there were many individuals, but in that season where podcasts were just coming to the stage. And I had the opportunity to do that radio show on a weekly basis for the next 5 or so years. Within that, I also was given the opportunity to do live remotes where we would go out, Survival Radio Network, Clark, we would go out to different events throughout town, red carpet events, and we would interview people, whether it was a movie or it was politics or business or whatever it was. And within the first year or two, I had the opportunity to interview some amazing people, to interview people that some veteran reporters and interviewers probably would have loved the opportunity or never had the opportunity to interview. And it's like, who is this rookie that is, interviewing these influential people? You remember that prayer about, Lord, if this is the direction that you desire that I go in, give me the discernment to recognize those open doors, to open those doors and embrace those opportunities. People say, how did you get that? How did you get the interview with this person? It was through prayer and the vessel called Clark Garrison, who put me in front of so many wonderful individuals. And he would have the practice of taking a photo of the guest and myself, or whoever the host was. It wasn't always me, it would be another host, of taking a photo. And I actually have a whole wall going up the stairway in my home, and I call that the wall of fame. So if an individual is on that wall, that means I've interviewed them, radio, television, or a live interview. So I found myself gaining this experience of interviewing, live interviews, interviewing on the radio as well. In the course of all of this, you begin to meet all these different people. And in the course of all of this, my paths crossed with Jerry Royce Live of Positive Power 21, where I believe I started out as a guest on his show. He later called and said, I have a late night radio show and I'm looking for a co-host, a female co-host. Would you be interested? So therein began my journey with Positive Power 21, late night with Jerry Royce Live and Paula G. And we were on the air maybe a couple years. Mind you, I was still doing my Wednesday night show. So I was doing my Wednesday night show, and then Friday nights at 11:30, we were doing late night with Jerry Royce Live and Paula G. And we were doing a late night show. It was a faith-based Positive Power 21 Christian media. It was faith-based platform. And we had some amazing guests on there as well. Here I am again, having the opportunity through Jerry to interview individuals that some people have been waiting a lifetime to interview. Again, open doors of opportunity. Lord, if this be your will, open these doors of opportunity. Give me the wisdom, the discernment, and the courage to walk through. Because at this point, I had to add courage, because some of these individuals that I was being approached with, would you like to interview this person? Would you like to interview that person? I'm like, oh, are you talking to me? What I've only been doing this for a short amount of time. When God opens those doors of opportunity, are y'all listening to me? When God opens those doors of opportunity, have the courage, the wisdom, and discernment, the faith to walk through those doors. And as that journey unfolded, I found myself with different opportunities with Positive Power that would open the door for me to also be part of the party, what we call the party line. There was like 5 of us, and it was a show that began to air after midnight, in which we went to like 1:30 in the morning with different topics. And it was almost like an evening late night talk show, where we had a platform topic, we would have guests come on. And being the senior host, I think it was like 5 of us, being the senior host, my dear friend Shay Samuels began to coin this phrase, Lady Wisdom After Midnight. That's me, Lady Wisdom After Midnight, because the other 4 felt that I brought wisdom because of my season status, brought a degree of wisdom to the conversation. Of course, the show was on after midnight. Then at one point, Jerry said, God has given me a vision about this TV talk show. And I need a host for this TV talk show. Would you be interested in doing the pilot season? So I flew up to DC, did the pilot season, and, it was a done deal because he said he was going to rotate, and have different hosts. He calls back, he says, no, this is your show. This is your journey. This is your vision. And there was the birth of my journey with Paula G. What is my point in telling you all of this? The point is, throughout the season, as God opens doors of opportunity, you might see an open door like, I have no idea. This is an opportunity. I have no idea how I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity, how I'm going to walk through this door. But you've got to have the faith. That's the bottom line thing that I'm trying to say is you got to have the faith. Because if God opens that door of opportunity for you, trust and believe He's going to equip you with what you need to walk through that door and have your own radio show, your own podcast, your own television show. Open the door of opportunity for you to become a commercial actor. Open the door of opportunity for you to become a print model, a voiceover artist, whatever it is that you desire to do. But you must have the faith and the courage to walk through that open door. So whatever season it is that you are in, whatever vision you have, dream you have, a dream deferred, whatever it is, there's a phrase from George Eliot, and he says it's never too late to be what you might have been. And that is so true. I'm a living witness. It is never too late. As long as you are living, as long as you are breathing, it is never too late to be what you might have been. You've just got to ask God for a confirmation that this is the direction that you need to go in. The discernment to recognize when He provides the opportunity, and the wisdom to know how to take advantage of it, to trust, to believe, and to have the faith to walk through. There was another saying that I saw. It said, leap and the net will appear. To have the faith to walk through and trust and believe that God has got you, God is going to catch you, and God is going to provide for you on that journey so that you can use your gifts, use your talents while juggling this journey called life. Use the gifts, using the talents that He has poured into you to encourage, to bless, to inspire others along the way. And to also, you never know, possibly reach others who may say, what must I do to know this God? What must I do to know Jesus? Because I see the light in this person. I see the joy in this person. What is it that I need to do to have that same light, have that same joy, to have that same faith, so I too can walk in the gifts and talents that God has given me while I'm juggling my journey called life? I hope that blessed you today. I hope that helped you today. We have come to the end of our journey. We thank you all so much for embracing this journey. And also, we want to thank our underwriters. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Remember, if you're interested in underwriting opportunities, email Paula at paulagvoice.com, jerryroycelive@gmail.com. Connect with me across all social media platforms. Paula G Voice, my group page, Mindset Journey with Lady Wisdom, and my Journey with Paula G page as well. My website, paulagvoice.com. Let's stay connected, like, share, subscribe. And as always, the greatest conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears. What are you speaking to yourself? Is God a part of that conversation? And are you listening to His still small voice? Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, embrace the journey.
If you ask me if He changed me, yes He, yes He, yes He, yes He. Oh my goodness, yes He did. If you ask me if He changed me, yes He, yes He, yes He.
Are you saying Jesus changed you?
Oh yes He did. If you ask me if He changed me, yes He, yes He, yes He, yes He. Oh my goodness, yes He did. If you ask me if He changed me, yes He, yes He, yes He.
Are you saying Jesus changed you?
Oh yes He did. Don't get upset, I'ma take you back. You can go with me, you can check facts. You can ask family, you can ask all them dudes that was with me, said they had my back. You can ask hood dudes living on the street. Them same dudes you can see me on E. Man, that boy then changed, got touched by the man upstairs. Man, that's so rare. I didn't do it cause I wanted to. God called me, I heard Him do. All the other voices were destructive. God gave me good news. He said that He would change me if I gave up, surrendered it. Did it, took a minute. Testimony, show and live it. If you ask me if He changed me, yes He, yes He, yes He, yes He. Oh my goodness, yes He did. If you ask me if He changed me, yes He, yes He, yes He.
Are you saying Jesus changed you?
Oh yes He did. If you ask me if He changed me, yes He, yes He, yes He, yes He. Oh my goodness, yes He did. If you ask me if He changed me, yes He, yes He, yes He.
Are you saying Jesus changed you?
Oh yes He did. Got caught up, that's true story. Grew up in church, that's true story. Saved as a young boy, that's true story. Didn't mean nothing, man, that's true story. I'ma tell this truth in the midst of my story. Yeah, God got proof, the results on Mort. This thing real, can't come back on the peel. He turned up on the grill, this he hot. Lake 5 burn, don't stop. Think about it, giving me chills. I don't wanna go there, ask for a change. Took me back when I first got saved. Gave it up, man, I just got played. When I walked out, man, I should've just stayed. That was easy, should've just prayed. I know that now, I got some age, slow this down.
Holy Ghost,
High on Jesus,
overdose.
wanna know how.
Take some notes.
Here's the first thing,
You should know.
just repent,
Ask forgiveness
then be baptized.
in His name.
You will come up,
Not the same.
speak in tongues.
Now you're saved.
I didn't do it cause I wanted to. God called me, I heard him through. All the other voices were destructive. God gave me good news. He said that he would change me if I gave up, surrendered it. Did it took a minute, testimony, show and live it. If you ask me if he changed me, yes he.
Hey family, this is Paula G, host of My Journey with Paula G. And you know, I always get asked the same questions. How did you get started in radio? I want to start my own podcast, but I don't know how. Or, Paula, I'm going to be a guest on a radio show and I'm not quite sure what to say or how to brand myself. And then I get asked questions about how did you transform your life from who you were to who you are today? Well, I have put the answers to those questions in courses. The Mindset Journey course, how to start your own podcast, and how to be a great radio or television show guest. So I invite you to visit my website at paulagvoice.com and engage in one of the courses that are of interest or need to you. I'm a person that I like to hear what the problem is that someone has and be able to solve the problem. And within the gifts and talents that I have, that God has given me, I want to share with you some tips on how to be a great radio or television show guest, how to start your own podcast, and unlocking the negative mindset and creating a new narrative. Visit my website at paulagvoice.com, enroll in one of the courses, and embrace the journey. And also, if you'd like to reach out to me, if you have any questions, Paula at paulagvoice.com. And remember, the greatest conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears. What are you speaking to yourself? Is God a part of that conversation? And are you listening to his still small voice? Until next time, embrace the journey.